Breaking: the Cleveland Browns are getting exposed. Andrew Berry just vanished. Fans are raging, and insiders are saying the team is secretly tanking to keep Shedeur Sanders off the field. This isn't just drama. This could be the darkest front office move in recent NFL history. Let's get into it.
Now, with that being said, it says Terry Pluto provided some insight about Andrew Berry skipping this annual meeting availability on the bye week. Now, I had told y'all, bro, he was supposed to speak. Andrew Berry was. It goes on to say, I was told the Browns decided in the offseason to skip the mid-season press conference with Andrew Berry.
Andrew Berry just got exposed for straight-up lying to Browns fans, and now he's hiding like a coward. The GM who's supposed to face the media during the bye week? Nowhere to be found. And get this, insiders are dropping bombs saying the Browns planned this disaster from the jump, tanking the season while Shedeur Sanders sits on the sidelines fully healthy. They're really about to trot out Deshaun Watson or Bailey Zapp, anybody but Shedeur. The disrespect is insane, and the truth that's coming out? It's way darker than you think. Browns fans are furious, and for good reason.
I told y'all, bro, I made a video, I believe that first game. And I said, dog, do not be surprised if they tank the season. See, they thought the quarterbacks that was coming out, because this is a quarterback draft this year. It's a ton of quarterbacks coming out.
All right, let me break this down for you real quick. Because what's happening in Cleveland right now is absolutely wild. And I'm not talking about your regular NFL dysfunction. This is a whole different level of chaos, lies, and straight-up disrespect to one of the most exciting young quarterbacks in the league. So here's the setup. The Cleveland Browns just wrapped up their bye week, right? And traditionally, during the bye week, you hear from the GM. You hear from the coaches. They update the media. They update the fans about what's going on, what the game plan is for the second half of the season, injuries, all that good stuff. It's standard procedure across the entire league. Every team does it, except the Cleveland Browns. Andrew Berry, the general manager who's supposed to be the face of this franchise alongside Kevin Stefanski, straight up ghosted the media. He didn't show up. No press conference, no availability, no answers, nothing. And when you dig into why he didn't show up, bro, that's when things get real spicy. Now, at first, the Browns tried to play it off like it was no big deal. They put out this weak excuse saying, "Oh, we decided in the offseason to skip the mid-season press conference this year." Yeah, okay. Let me tell you something. That's the biggest load of garbage I've heard all season. You're telling me that Andrew Berry, the man who built this roster, the man who's supposed to answer for this disaster of a season, just conveniently decided months ago that he wouldn't talk to anyone during the bye week? Come on, man. Do they think we're stupid? Terry Pluto, who's one of the most respected insiders when it comes to Cleveland sports, came out and basically said what we're all thinking. He said the Browns claiming they decided this in the offseason? That's a flat-out lie. And here's the kicker. Pluto dropped this absolute nuke of a statement. He said this decision to avoid the media won't do anything to quiet the people claiming the Browns initially decimated the offense in order to tank a second straight season. Let that sink in for a second. Tank a second straight season. We're not talking about some random Twitter troll saying this. We're talking about a legit Cleveland insider basically saying out loud what everybody's been whispering for weeks now. The Browns are tanking on purpose, and Andrew Berry knows it. Kevin Stefanski knows it. The whole front office knows it. And now that people are catching on, Andrew Berry doesn't want to face the music. But here's where it gets even crazier. And this is where Shedeur Sanders comes into play. Shedeur Sanders is sitting in Cleveland right now. He was just in Colorado at the Buffaloes game. Homecoming. Showed love to his pops Dion. Hung out with his old teammates. And then boom, he's back in Cleveland. Posted it on Instagram late at night. Rolling through the city in what looks like a 2026 Escalade with that massive 55-inch dash. The kid is back in the building. He's ready to go. He's been rehabbing his back, taking care of his body, doing everything right. And yet, the Browns are acting like this man doesn't even exist. Instead, we're hearing reports that Deshaun Watson is getting reevaluated during the bye week. Deshaun Watson, the same guy who's looked absolutely terrible this season, who's been injured, who's clearly not the answer. That's who they're evaluating? And don't even get me started on Bailey Zapp. Word on the street. is they might even trot Bailey Zapp out there before they give Shedeur Sanders a real shot. Let me repeat that. Bailey Zapp over Shedeur Sanders. Are you kidding me right now? This is the same Shedeur Sanders who came into this league with all the hype, all the swagger, all the talent. The same kid who lit it up at Colorado, who showed he can handle pressure, who has NFL bloodlines and one of the greatest coaches of all time as his father. And the Browns are really sitting there like, nah, we good. We'll roll with literally anybody else. Why? What is the obsession with not playing this kid? And look, I get it. There's always been smoke around Shedeur and the Browns. Some people say Kevin Stefanski doesn't like him. Some people say it's an ego thing. Some people say it's because Shedeur didn't come through the traditional route. He's a primetime kid, and maybe that rubs some old-school football guys the wrong way. But bro, at some point, you got to put the best players on the field. And if you're telling me that Deshaun Watson or Bailey Zapp gives you a better chance to win than Shedeur Sanders, then I don't know what sport you're watching. Here's what I think is really going on. And this is where it gets dark. The Browns are tanking. Not just stumbling into a bad season. Actively, intentionally tanking. And they did it because they thought this 2026 draft was going to be loaded with quarterback talent. They thought they could ride out another terrible season, grab a high draft pick, and then land their franchise guy in the draft. But here's the problem. The quarterbacks in this draft? They're trash. Straight up. None of them are better than Shedeur Sanders. Not one. So now the Browns are sitting here looking stupid because they wasted a roster spot. They wasted developmental time. And they tanked a season for absolutely nothing. And Andrew Berry knows it. That's why he's hiding. Because if he steps in front of those cameras, the first question is going to be, why isn't Shedeur Sanders playing? And he doesn't have a good answer. The second question is going to be, did you intentionally tank this season? And he definitely doesn't have a good answer for that. Now let's talk about Dorian Thompson-Robinson, or as I like to call him, Dillon Gabriel. Because that's who they're really rolling with right now. And here's the thing about Dillon Gabriel. He's not even supposed to be here. You want to know how Dillon Gabriel ended up in Cleveland? Jimmy Sexton, the agent. Jimmy Sexton represents both Dan Lanning, the Oregon coach, and Dillon Gabriel. It's all a money game, bro. They packaged this whole thing together, got Dillon to Cleveland, and now Kevin Stefanski is stuck with him because that's his guy.
Kevin Stefanski go at the end of the year. Now, I'm not saying that they will, but I'm just saying, what if they let him go, right? So they let him go. Y'all don't think Dillon Gabriel coming with him? Dillon, that's his guy. That's his guy. Wherever Kevin go, Dillon goes. He's in the league now. That wasted the third-round pick on that young man. He's hot garbage.
And here's the scary part. Even if they fire Kevin Stefanski at the end of the year, Dillon Gabriel is probably going with him. Because wherever Kevin goes, Dillon goes. That's how tight they are. So the Browns wasted a third-round pick on a guy who's hot garbage, and now they're stuck in this weird loyalty situation while a legitimate talent like Shedeur is just sitting there watching. It's mind-blowing. And Browns fans? Oh man, they are livid. They've been patient. They've been loyal. They've suffered through decades of disappointment. And now they're watching their front office basically spit in their face by hiding from accountability and refusing to give their most talented quarterback a real chance. Let's also talk about what Kevin Stefanski is gonna say when he addresses the media on Monday. Because you already know what's coming. He's gonna stand up there. He's gonna give some generic coach speak about how Dillon Gabriel is our guy right now. And then when someone asks about Deshaun Watson, he's gonna say, we'll know more by the end of the week. His evaluation is going well, and we'll have more information by Friday. I'll bet you $1 million that's exactly what he says. Word for word. Because that's what these guys do. They stall. They avoid. They deflect. And they hope that by the time Friday rolls around, people forget about the question. But we're not going to forget. Browns fans aren't going to forget. And most importantly, Shedeur Sanders isn't going to forget. Because here's the reality. Shedeur is handling this whole situation like a pro. He's not out here complaining. He's not throwing tantrums on social media. He's not causing drama in the locker room. He's going to Colorado to support his team. He's coming back to Cleveland to rehab and stay ready. He's doing everything a team could ask for, and he's getting nothing in return. Now, let's talk about the trade deadline for a second, because that's November 4th, and there's been some rumblings about what the Browns might do. According to Adam Schefter, the Browns are more likely to be buyers than sellers at the deadline, meaning they're not looking to ship guys out. They're looking to add pieces. So that means Shedeur is probably staying put. He's not getting traded, which honestly, I don't know if that's good or bad for him at this point. Because on one hand, he's stuck in a toxic situation with a coaching staff that clearly doesn't want to play him. But on the other hand, getting traded mid-season to another dysfunctional organization might not be much better. It's a lose-lose for the kid right now. But here's where I'm going to give you the real take. And this is what a lot of people aren't saying. Shedeur Sanders is still the future. Not just for the Browns, for the NFL. This kid has it. He's got the arm talent, the confidence, the poise, the leadership. He's got the bloodlines, the training, the mentality. He's been groomed for this his entire life. And yeah, the Browns are doing him dirty right now. Yeah, Andrew Berry is hiding like a coward. Yeah, Kevin Stefanski is playing favorites with Dylan Gabriel. But at the end of the day, Shedeur is going to be fine. Whether it's in Cleveland or somewhere else, this kid is going to get his shot. And when he does, he's going to make every single person who doubted him look stupid, because that's what great players do. They use the disrespect as fuel. They remember who believed in them and who didn't. And then when they finally get their opportunity, they make sure the whole world knows they were right all along. So to all the Browns fans watching this, I feel for you. I really do. You deserve better than this. You deserve a front office that's honest with you. You deserve a coaching staff that plays the best players. You deserve a GM who has the guts to face the media and answer tough questions. But instead, you've got Andrew Berry hiding in his office, hoping this all blows over. It won't, because the truth always comes out eventually. And when it does, when we look back on this season and see the receipts, when we see the leaked reports and the insider info about how the Browns deliberately tanked this year, Andrew Berry is going to have a lot to answer for. And by then, it might be too late. The damage might already be done. Shedeur Sanders might be gone. The fan base might be completely checked out. And the Browns might be staring down another decade of irrelevance. All because they were too proud, too stubborn, or too stupid to give a generational talent a fair shot. So here's my question for you. Do you think the Browns are really tanking on purpose? Do you think Andrew Berry is lying to cover his tracks? And most importantly, do you think Shedeur Sanders will ever get a fair chance in Cleveland? Or is he better off getting out of there as soon as possible? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a real conversation about this, because Browns fans deserve the truth, and Shedeur Sanders deserves respect. Conclusion and CTA. Look, at the end of the day, this situation is ugly. Andrew Berry is hiding. Kevin Stefanski is playing games. And Shedeur Sanders is caught in the middle of a front office that doesn't have the guts to admit they messed up. But mark my words, this kid is going to prove everybody wrong. Whether it's in Cleveland or somewhere else, Shedeur is built for this. And when he finally gets his moment, it's going to be legendary. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on everything Shedeur Sanders, everything Browns, and all the NFL drama, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. We're covering this story every step of the way, and trust me, it's only going to get crazier from here. Until next time, shake the haters off, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.